Now we want to design the rest of this page. What we are going to do is to, for example, choose this amount that you see of the white color in here, divide it to 2 sections, and then each section for a game or for a different picture. Actually, let me just show it to you what we are going to do. For example, we want to, let's say that this is our page. We want to assign every section for one different game. For example, this is the classic roulette, and then the roulette and other games in below, or you could just define more, put more text in here. So let's just start doing it using HTML and CSS. So if we go to our HTML file in here, what we are going to do, like always, we define a completely separate div with an ID of, let's say, so the ID of this was first image, this should be second, and also the third images. Again, you could choose better names. Now in here you say div, and we define our section. So as you saw in here, every section would be consisted of 2 parts. One of them is image and the other is text. So in here, the first one would be an image, which the source would be the page of, let me just press Ctrl Shift and T, type ls. We want the classical roulette. I think it would be the roulette classic or one of these 2 roulettes in here. So we say roulette1.jpg. we want to define the width and the height. Again, you could do all of these things in the CSS too. So the width we want to be of type of 490 pixel, and also we want the height to be, let's say, 200 pixel. So we have 2 ways actually. One of the ways that we showed it to you in the PowerPoint in here could be like this. The image would be in here, and then we have the text. The other thing is that we put our image in one column and then put the text in another. So if this is so let me just bring up my browser. If the whole width of our page is 1000 pixel, we want to put 2 images. So we define the width to be equal to 490 pixel. We could put that 500 later, or we could assign it for some margin or padding. So this is our image. Also, what we are going to do is to define another div in here to say this is for the text, and we want it to be a link. So we say a href is equal to, let's say, classic roulette.php, and also we want to bold it, so we use the b tag and we say classic roulette. We close the b tag, we close the a tag. Let me just bring it a little back in here, and then we close the div. Also we assign an ID for all of these things, so the ID to be equal to, let's say, classic, again, roulette. Okay, now it's good. Let's go to the browser and refresh the page. So we have both of them in here, but what we want to do is to now modify the appearance by going into the CSS. And actually this is not the roulette, the classic roulette, so I want to change the name of the image in here. I think it is the, so if we look at it here, I think it is the roulette classic.jpg. So roulette classic.jpg, refresh it. Yes, this is the classic roulette. Okay, now we go to the CSS file and just save it and go to the CSS. For first one, we want to change the image, give it some margin. So we define an ID for this image. This is the so C for classic role, C role, and then we go to the CSS file, hashtag C role in here, and we open our brackets. So we want it to be a inline. Actually, let me just first, we want to define our whole division, which is the second and third in here. So instead of going for the C role, we want to say second and third to see our box. We said that first we just define our box, give it a background color so that we see how much space we have. So the display would be a block, and also the margin would be auto. The width would be 1000 pixel, and the height of it would be, let's say, well, how much space we assign to the picture. It has the height of 200 pixel. Let's say that this should be 300 because we want 100 pixel for the text. Now if we go in here, actually let me just give it a background color that we want it to be, to have, for example, 25 density of red, 250 of green, and 240 of blue. Now if we open our browser and refresh it, you see this is our page. Now we have this much space, we have assigned this to this amount of space we have assigned to this picture, and then we have some amount for text, also for other images and text. Now let's go for the text. Okay, the next one that we want to do is the classic roulette in here. So if we go to the CSS file and say the hashtag and then classic underline roulette, we want the display to be inline. Also we want the float, no, actually we don't want the float, we want it to be the bottom of the other. So I think it's enough for now. If we refresh it, we should see the link in here. So the link is in here right now. Let me just change this color in here so that we could exactly see our link, that how we could move it. Okay, if we go in here, let me just increase the red color and decrease the green and blue, and if we refresh it, now we have this, and this is our link, classic roulette. We want to bring it exactly in here. So what I want to do is to define another division in here. Let's say division, then I explain the reason, with the ID of, let's say, second, and then we close it in here, and we go to the CSS file, and in here I want to say the second and define something in here. I want this to be of type of inline, to be the child. I want this div to be the inline of this one in here. So we say inline. I also want to give it a float of left so that the next box that I would define would come next to this one, and we want to give it a width equal to 490 pixel and a height of, let's say, 300 pixel, and also a background color of brown so that you could see it completely. Now if we go in our browser and refresh it, you see the classic roulette has came in here, because right now the division in here is this exact brown thing that you see. This is the image, and because we don't have any space from the right hand side of the image, so the link and the text would come below it, because this link is in the same division as the image, all of them in this brown space in here. So now we could apply all our CSS on our text. Now we want to bring the text in the center, but what we are going to do first, because we have defined a division around this link in here, first, like always, we want to assign a width and a height. So first let me say margin auto, and then we say width to be equal to, let's say, for example, 300 pixel, and we want a height to be assigned to it as big as 80 pixel, and the background color I want it to be of let's say yellow. Now we save it, we go in here, we refresh the page, and if we look, we have created this box in here which has the color of yellow. So now what we are going to do is to say text align. Text align is some code for aligning the text. We say center, and now we remove this yellow color now that you have seen the space, and we refresh it. No, it hasn't changed. I think the reason is for because in the CSS we have said display inline. Let me just remove it and again refresh the page. Yes, now you see that it has changed. The classic roulette has came in the middle. Also, I want to give it some padding to make it prettier, so we say padding, and let's say 5 pixel. Now if we go in here and refresh it, you see now we have some space between the image and the link in here. Let me just give it more space, more padding, so 15 pixel would be perfect. Now if we just refresh the page and look at this, now as you see we have more space. If we click on here, you see that we have been directed to the classic roulette.php. We want to do the same for other spaces too.